All right. So really quickly, a couple of things I'm watching here in order to gauge where this candle will close. Obviously, we're sitting on the floor, right? So anywhere pushing outside of the candle, same candle close area of $600, we could potentially move up. Could even see 601. Could even see tomorrow at 603.50 if this floor responds. Otherwise, that 599.37, which there is still a ass ton of supports underneath us. Um, that is what I'm watching at the moment, is to see whether or not this is going to respond. Which, I mean, struggling, dying animal at the bottom. Let's see, 3 minute here. Yeah, it's 599.89 in the area to watch, but might grab some 601.75 gambles if we do pop out. Remember, I'm still short. All right, let me go ahead and. Oh shit! There we go. Yo, what's up, brother? Yeah, Ivy's in the hospital, so we yeah, we might need somebody to restream it for us if anybody can. I mean, I'm sure somebody will. Usually somebody does, but just might have to give them a second here. They have to. I think she got out this morning, but yeah, me too, man. All right, we're live on TikTok now. Yeah, no problem, brother. You doing good? Uh, I feel that, man. All right, folks, real quick, futures, whatever you're doing. Obviously, we're C. Again, let me mark this level out for you right there. This could be a potential area to speculate over that cost basis. 599.91, 616 right here. Second signal is obviously 681. Um, it's not really in fact, I'm just going to go. I'll leave the channel for now, but um, sorry, I'm multitasking. Yes, KDP so far, so good. We got a candle close above 30 to, at $30 right now, so we're moving in the right direction. Um, KDP is notorious for being a dick without confirmation, which is $30.16. So that is missing, but we're okay here. I'm watching right now here. This close or this Q floor here at 599.37. We've got a pocket right here that I expect would get filled if we do reverse. I am managing my positions right now. Yeah, oh, that's right. KDP does have earnings. Is that today? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. So never mind. That doesn't matter. 601. Yeah, Qs are cheap right now. So. No, KDP has earnings, so whatever the shortest expiration, typically, unless you're looking for something beyond, yeah, all of the empty space or anything in the $34 area, yeah. Um, all right, let's go ahead and get this started here. If you're on TikTok, please tap your screen. Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, let's go ahead and get this cracking, motherfucker. I'm trying to type with a big ass bandage on my finger, and it's hard. Is QQQ easier to trade than NQ? I mean, they're virtually the same thing. It's just the instrument that you're trading them with. All right, so I have a little trade here. Map up to 601.80. If we break A over 616 cents, floor 650, and then especially over that $600 and 80 cents, excuse me. Little Gambellini, and we'll see. All right, as far as the close is concerned, right? And we're going to look at that right now because what I just pointed out as far as empty space, if it does get filled, which is what I'm hedging for, not edging for, that is what we would be pulling ourselves up into these candle closes potentially. But so far, right? 24-hour candle staying red, staying in the wicks, sitting here or right above here, which would be tomorrow's what we would need to break tomorrow or open below tomorrow. We also can kind of look over here to our left, folks, and the pressure is on. They are pushing down. And as much as this serves and could serve as a potential springboard, whatever spring is here is fucking defaulty. The wick that we're seeing on the 4-hour candle is also wicking off of this floor as well, keeping that downwards pressure. Again, I'm watching as we go towards into the end of the day with that 601.80, right? That could lead us. I don't know if anybody just grabbed that, but so far so good. Swing. That was a nice little baby punch back off of the floor. You got this box right here. Just a low risk position. We're looking at that cost basis here at $600.30 or 80 cents, excuse me. 3-minute wick, and then right here to 601.80. Yo, bro, I'm down $20,000 at 15 years old. What do I do? Whew, damn, I would leave the country. Anyway, I'm just sorry. I guess start. I've never been in that situation. At 15, anyway. All right. Anyway, moving on. Huh?
Sorry. Hey Potter, would you get those contracts for? Because you said they were cheap, and what I was looking at wasn't cheap. I don't know
For
how
today?
you, or you can tell me later, how you picked them and everything. Because I was like looking at 143 for the contract on
For
the
the
Qs.
weekly contracts?
Oh, you're looking at weeklies?
Yeah,
Oh,
again, remember, I'm short with a longer expiration. And so playing these upside bounces like this punchback that we saw earlier up into that floor that we gave at 602.65, that's places that I'm taking advantage of empty space. And same thing here, contracts are low priced. I can hedge. It's a small insurance policy, uh, if you will. Yeah, I already nailed a 100% on that. Those 601s I just grabbed. I grabbed them at 21 cents.
what? You got them for a week? Okay. I'll just keep. Never mind.
For today. I got them for today's expiration. They expire in like 30 minutes. I'm just
Oh,
doing like,
oh,
yeah,
I
it's
was
just a
like,
little
what?
scalp, dude. Yeah, yeah. Just like a,
I was like, what in the world?
just a low risk, empty space, potential punchback. I already got it coming up and through this box. It kept banging off the cost basis. I grabbed it in here. Low stress. You can
Full
actually
port, Poppy.
not full port, but yeah, it's 100% right now, and so you can trim off any risk and just let it see if we get that ripperoni and cheese, baby. All right. Oof, damn. Make a little money here, baby. Ugh. All right. Now, back to what I was saying here. And I'm going to switch these charts over. So lower time frame, if you want to watch this on YouTube. Not bad. Okay. So 24-hour time frame. We're watching to see how this one closes. IWM still red. Definitely went and hit one of our major targets today. So as far as being short, you should be pretty pleased with at least some of the price action today. And it did, yes. I mean, what we talked about last Friday was, oof, goddamn, Qs. Let's go, baby. uh, damn, that was obvious as hell. Um, anyway, with the lower time frame having the empty space directly up above us, we do have to be prepared for a couple or potentially a retest after wicking down at that 258. which is, again, this area has been a consistent floor for IWM, so it's no surprise. As far as any continuation to the upside, we're still blocked off, and so it's only limited to potentially by the end of the day 261 and 262. But as far as a 24-hour candle is concerned, a retest up there wouldn't be terrible, but we're still red, but still looking for that candle close under 259.50. So we're just starting off. So those of you who have longer expirations, this is obviously just like it was before on the Qs, just a potential start. We still have some things to accomplish here to the downside. Be sure to tap your screen. All right, last one, SPY, and I'm trying to make this quick, so I was late. We are closing red. We are within the wicks directly. You know, again, that candle close that we talked about earlier on the 24-hour being 680.41. We bounced off of it perfectly. If you still have these Qs here, we just need to leave these wicks at 601. We'll see that 601.65. Good catch on the Qs. Yeah, that was pretty fire. I've already trimmed, so just seeing if we can get the rest of that empty space up here. We might have to retest that $600.43, but of course these are weeklies, so you can't really fuck around too much. Not bad though. All right, so as far as a candle close, we are within the wicks on the 24-hour time frame. So continuation of the downside is obviously in the cards. We are pressed flat, right, against what we've perceived as cost basis, just like the Qs. And so this is where any sort of overnight price action would likely drive us down to that first 677 20 target, and this could be the start. Maybe this is where we start to spill over, and I would say SPY has, being that it did fill its gap, that looks good. Now it does, like everything else right now, right, is still being held down underneath its floor. We talked about this floor earlier. So at the end of the day, or as we near the end of the day, right, we're looking to see whether or not, and this is something that might be saved for tomorrow, or you may even, honestly, if you're short, you probably don't want this to happen now. You want this to gap up somewhere in here overnight. And what that would do is allow for price to wick up and then drive down, which would start momentum, obviously, in your favor, unless we wick down first. But um, so that being said, I do want to point out again, if you are looking for hedges, yes, that has empty space, but if anything ripped up and over, it'd be somewhere in the 692, 693 area. So if that's something that you are doing, Q's good bounce right off that $600.23. See if it can still go shoot the 601.75s. God, I bet people playing SPX right now are eating. Well, what's up? All right, so overall, pretty bearish, right? Not a lot has been recovered. We have not officially lost what we need to lose. And so the risk is still obviously potentially staying in this range. All right. Yeah. All right. So if you have anything you want me to take a look at, please go ahead and drop your request. I'm pretty focused on the ETFs right now as far as price is concerned. I did want to talk about Apple, which has actually maintained all of that upside, right? I mean, as far as price action is concerned, yes, it's been kind of bent over here, but it is leaving empty space behind. Lower time frame, 15-minute. We are trapped currently underneath the top of that resistance at 267. So this might be something where you might be able to catch another bounce on this one going into tomorrow, uh, if we maintain that 258.89. So, all right, now let's talk about KDP, and it does have earnings tonight, and yes, it is moving in the right direction to potentially move up and fill that empty space into the $31 area. Again, I want to backtrack really quickly just to double check price action movement. So clearly it has an affinity for the downside, but it definitely does have a pretty good response overall to earnings. Not bad. So KDP does look good. um, to as a low risk $31.78. Now that's not a huge move, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. It'd be really nice if we could actually get into the box. So that would require that earnings puts us on 31.78, excuse me. And that would, at minimum, and this is kind of a structure that has already been pushed through, but that $34 target would be ripe. Um, with KDP having earnings as far as expiration, you want it to be low expiration if because the earnings is right now or soon. You don't want to risk a lot on something like this, and it is something where we are and have we're not above $30. So they haven't sold that price or bought that price. So it is possible, that and like any earnings, I usually hedge. As far as hedges are concerned, I structure wise, it's only 28, 22. So, all right, what else do we got? Neo, good candle close. Um, it's 100% this overhead level here, 24-hour time frame. Hmm. One of the difficult things about Chinese stocks is they're not filled with volume like everything else is. It's not a bad setup. Candles, basically sitting on that floor here at 541, so a simple gap up, and I would be looking for 570 and maybe $6. So there is a channel at play here. So I think that's a pretty reasonable target. Damn, brother, I'm about to send you something to clean your computer screen. Very complicated ass chart, right? Sorry. Um, Does volume play a big role? Not the volume that you see at the bottom of your chart. No, I don't pay attention to that volume at all. Uh, Marty, this trade Lily down. Um, I mean, I see this is the thing about trading inside of these massive ranges. Yes, you are hitting that 1062. No, you didn't lose anything. In order for I would be more bearish if you lost 1038 or 1030 flat. And so in order for that to occur, you're going to have to lose a lot. This might be more stress than it's worth. Hopefully, this is your rejection point. And I mean, it's gone red past it, but anything over 1064, and you could look at the top of this range as a tangible target here. So, hedging is grabbing a low risk, target based option out of the money. And it's a small insurance policy on things that A, are speculative, B, aren't confirmed, or C, have earnings. All right, so let's Roblox up. So Roblox does have a good setup on a lower time frame. Above today's high at 62.80, you'd have an overhead target of 64. Now, I think that would probably gesture price up to 67.18. The 24-hour time frame could potentially support this notion, but if you do not recover this box, obviously you would be cut off from any sort of potential upside here. Um, I mean, it's not a terrible setup for sure. Just in need of a reaction still. Um, so maybe even a intraday break tomorrow over 62.87. Um, has swinging. We got a little bit of KDP, and I'm actually looking right now at a potential. or not a potential. I'm looking right now at a hedge on the queues as we're struggling with cost basis right now. So we're really that 599 floor. We got empty space for a retest of 604 tomorrow. So, but yeah, I'm still short. I'm I'm a little short guy. All right, workday up. Well, that's not the kind of response typically that you want to see. You've lost those weekly floors directly to your left, and you have a floor directly here. So I don't know, man. That seems like something that could definitely be a candidate. Yeah, you do have a bounce there, but any sort of upside would happen above today's open. And I don't really. Okay, so you got a decent amount of it. So maybe tomorrow you can gap up. Um, I mean, for a bounce trade, I guess it's not that bad. You've got a box underneath you. I know this sounds a little loopy, but you're literally going to do the same exact thing. Split that space in half, 131.28, and then that 135 area. So, I mean, it's not obviously if you were going to speculate on that, 127.50 would have been the entry. So, what do you think of QQQ in 3 month time? Upside? Listen, there is an opportunity to take the cues to the upside, but we haven't triggered that yet. And there is and we've talked about this area right here. And the signal to go take this long is basically through this box that we keep rejecting on the floor. But that's cutting off access to this empty space here, which gives us a price target of basically 630, 628. And that would be a substantial rip that I would assume, I mean, honestly, anywhere back up above 606.25, and you could start a position looking to accomplish that. So that, I mean, it does look it, and I mean, there's a lot of other variables that could potentially support this notion, right? We still haven't broke. I'm treading lightly, right? I still got my short positions, but I'm not going into this one side. So can I check the monthly on the QQQ? Yeah, I mean that's really just looking for a candle close by the end of the month below 596. Um, there's, the only structure that we have here or potential leg down target there is 530, 540. So, I mean, it is juicy, obviously, if we can get one of these numbers, right? Something down there, bad boy. Look at that retest at the structure underneath you and then right back up. So, yeah, there's something to be said about that. That 570 area right there. Thank you. I appreciate that, Nifty. Nif 50. Thoughts on Top Step? I don't see a problem with it as long as, um, yeah. Um, Sorry. As long as you have a strategy. Sorry, I'm a little dazed right now. Yes, I'm still short. I want to start trading. Cool. You're in the perfect place. You're in the golden zone for trading where you can just watch and your focus needs to be on a strategy. And even if you don't follow me or learn from me, master a strategy with low risk using 200 to 200 bucks. Take your time, be patient with yourself, um, and don't get trapped in instant gratification signals or um, scalping. That's not for new traders. Uh, Obviously, with a few minutes left here in the bell, I want to focus on charts. So if you guys have any questions on trading, let me know. But we'll take a look at it in just a second. All right, K view to the upside. Jesus Christ. Wake. Oh, Jesus Christ. That has earnings? Had earnings. How much are those? I took a nap after the bell, dude. I'm sleepy. 1950. Those are, yeah, hell yeah, those are cheap. Low risk, high reward. Let's see. Okay, so in order to make sure that we are not entering this right and getting snapped out immediately, have a plan, right? I think it's pretty obvious at the moment. We've got a decent candle close, but that 1896 is a warning zone, and then I would say 1889 the trade's over with. All right, let's see here. Oh, CRM has earnings. God dang, this band-aid on my finger is making my life harder. Do I have a Telegram? No, I stay away from Telegram. There's a lot of scammers on that thing. I have a Discord, but if you watch any of my videos, you'll know I do not do signals. I actually thought of something funny earlier. I was like, instead of teaching a man to get a fish a day, you take his fish and then you say, "Watch me fish," or I'll just tell you when to fish and you'll get your fish back. That's what signals are. CRM ER 24-hour time frame. How does it respond? It's already dumping, so obviously that one's not my favorite. Where are you? Okay, so no empty space or any fluidity as far as the weekly chart is concerned. You have structure here. You're sitting on cost basis. I would honestly, with this sort of setup, I'd be looking at the first green candle on the weekly there at 189, and that might be your new range. Watch me fish or watch me nay nay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's one of the reasons that I think my strategy won't like catch on either is because I'm not throwing out a massive cast net for with signals. Most people, when I tell them I don't do signals, they scroll away, which is fine by me.
Wait, you don't do signals? Dang it! No,
Silver. So yesterday, right, we talked about that really solid candle close. Not bad. Now we have this structure that we're moving over here to our left. Not bad, right? So I think you have a reasonable shot to be looking at probably up to the 8650 area, but obviously we're looking for tomorrow 8190 to be cleared. And that's where I think you'll get that 8650. So it's not bad. Potter is a $34 target. So that listen, real quick. Um, that is a earnings trade. So if this is your first trade ever, maybe maybe not. Um, so I know I break Brother John's heart every day with my no signals. I mean, again, do we discuss plays completely in depth? Talk about contracts, talk about length of time, talk about all entries, exits, stop losses. Yes. So if you can't put a signal together from that, and the only reason why you wouldn't be able to is because you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about because you don't know my strategy. So learning my strategy, but here's the thing: I've just forced you to understand why, rather than just telling you when and where, which isn't going to do you any good. Tricked you. I know you're not still here from this morning. No, I'm not. The color blue. Yes, I am kind of suspicious about potential continuation tomorrow. However, I do see a retest on the Qs of 604, depending on how overnight price action plays out, which right now it's just sitting in this still upwards channel. It still's got to go and lose my floor here of 599.25 or break the higher time frame cost basis. But we're getting closer. I am hedging directly back up to the upside. Obviously, there is definitely enough room for this thing to rip all the way up into that 526. But I'm maintaining my short, and again, I have a great average right now on my short. And so what I'll do is, again, I'm buying cheaper options out of the money and target based, which you could look at, closer targets like 610 or even 614 for strike prices on shorter expiration hedge. I haven't done PayPal, no. I'll take a look at it. Hold on. I'm moving. I'm moving. SLS. Curious what you think about LSLS back down to three okay, so sure. But remember, this thing is building up at the highs. Clearly, right there, more than likely, there's a floor. Aha, right, that we're sitting on. Now, this was a more 24-hour box, I would assume safely. So right now, right, in order for any of what you just talked about to occur, right, and we can leave that there, you need to see anything below 350 in general for continuation to the downside, but you are looking for that. So you would need to go lower. Instinctually, I started looking at the higher time frame. Okay. Okay. So first off, 443. Yes, you have a good trajectory here, but you also have empty space back up for a 450 retest. So you're going to need to lose 443, and then you'll have a 444. Sorry, 440, 443s, and then 432. Sorry, I just gave myself dyslexia. KDP is dropping. Make sure you have a position for both sides. You know, this isn't a one side. No earnings will typically ever be one sided. There's a few exceptions. You know, ones that are already in empty space. But I like our chances to possibly pop over 30 here. So low risk, high reward. All right, let's see here. Yeah, no problem, brother. Go. I need to know, man. Is Rusty Rod really a scam? Yes. Huh? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yes, Cody, I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it, man. You know, he was my old student. He left. Yeah, everything I said in that video was true. So, all right, let's see here. CRWV. Oh wait, hold on. PayPal. Sorry, I'll get right back to that. 556. All right. So as far as the 24 hours concerned, and damn, that hit 45. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're sitting. I mean, this is a great candle, but what you're going to need to do, and I think you're off to a pretty damn good start. Good bounce, good recovery, 30-minute time frame. Okay, so no recovery yet off of that. 44.14. Let's go to the 15-minute. Box. So I mean the good bounce, good retest, right? But that's what we need to see a punch through that box at that box at 44.50. You have perfect wicks equal at 43.19, and there's two off of those, so you might even see yourself down again. Um, Polar Monkey and anybody else who has been scammed, I don't care who you've been scammed by. I'm probably going to be doing a class for you guys for free on TikTok by the end of this week. So keep your eyes peeled. Watch for a post. I will be um, posting a time and date for that. Oh, dude, yeah, Ross, Voss, all of them. Pandora's box. Haven't seen you since your last house. I know you had a kid or something since. Oh man, what? I I only have two kids. All right. Anyway, let's move on. We got 2 minutes here. Tesla up. Honestly, not a bad option. I would look at 402, John. Fuck. Hold on. Zoom out. Bounce off the 24-hour floor. 4-hour time frame. You have recovered the floor. Empty space directly up to 402.82, 404. That's not that bad actually. Jesus Christ, bro. These things are jacked. You could play out of the money on them, but KDP, yes, guys, if you're gonna take it, its earnings are tonight. So again, the potential here is 31.75. If you can reclaim that floor, potentially intraday, we'll see two turbulent areas, 32.86 and 33.42. The goal would be maybe to get up into 34, but the most an obvious setup is a pop over that $30.16. However, right, because we don't go into these one-sided when they do not have confirmation, which would be a candle leaving already $30. You can hedge yourself for 28.19 or potentially 27.72. Gotta do stuff. Fuck. Can you argue that day trading is a form of gambling? Can I argue that it is? Like that it's not? I'm not a I'm not a day trader by practice. I only do it when the opportunity is crystal clear. Um, but stocks in general are gambling? No, they're not. You really think that rich people are gambling? You really think that politicians are gambling? You really think that institutions are gambling? No, they're setting shit up to keep themselves rich. And if there's a way to track, there's a way to fucking yes. I mean, in real life, when people tell me that stocks are gambling, I end the conversation right there, like about stocks. Like we're moving on. I'm not going to try to convince you, because if you've already made it up in your mind, then you probably had a terrible experience following somebody else. I'm sorry, but you got to have a better discernment when it comes to who you're going to learn from. You need to be watching what they're saying, and if it actually is playing out in front of you. I just watched this dude today. KDP's on a little bit. Um, I just watched this guy, and it's so funny because I'm almost positive he says it's. And you might have seen him. He trades like a $1 million account. And it says that he made so much profits that the FBI came after him. But as far as I'm aware, that guy was one of those people that got caught in the pump and dump scams, with the Atlas Group and everything else. And so he's kind of, bending the truth a little bit to make it look good. But I was watching him, I just scrolled past, I was just watching him trade. And I know exactly where he took his trade. And it was just, again, I don't sit there and study other motherfuckers, but there's that, oof. By the way, that right at the last minute hit 601.75. Um, but I watched him on a lower time frame over here. Look, first of all, we had already talked about a bounce right off of this, and then being on that lower time frame, a retest back up to 600. It went to 600 and he got in immediately. And then as he's like trying to explain why he did what he did, right? It's not, he's like, well, we're just not really getting any expansion today. I keep taking a trade and nothing's work. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? There's been ample opportunities today. You had multiple different signals. And again, I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just saying that technically speaking, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Um, so have you ever done any videos on trade by Psy? I mean, dude, if you can't look, I mean, yeah, if you can't listen to that dude and no, I try not to make a fucking ton of videos on that shit. I spent a long time, uh, you know, uh, yeah, calling people out, if you will. There's a couple of careers that I ended, I guess, if you want to call it like that. I mean, there's a couple of people who do not trade or stream anymore after I called them out, but that eventually turned into people mass reporting me. You make yourself a target, and I'm just trying to fucking teach. So I have a really good strategy. I think that people should at least know about it, or if anything, even if you're not a day trader, as if you're just investing this strategy, this is how I invest. This is how I uninvest, divest. I mean, this is how I trade options. This is how I scalp. If I see the opportunity, this is how I swing trade. It's the same concept, top and bottom simplified. Um, and that's what I'm trying to share. You know what I mean? And hopefully by proxy, by doing it for free and talking about it, uh, that's really the best thing that I can do to counteract all of these individuals that are on the internet. But unfortunately, it is what it, it's something that as much as I try to fight against it, I could take two out and have 10 more pop up, because there's just a constant stream of people taking shortcuts. So what's my strategy? The Potterbox strategy, PBS. Yeah, Tesla has a chance. Yeah, yeah, I think with that sort of pop here, I think there's a decent chance to at minimum reach 402 like we talked about. There's also a gap up there at 411, dead slap center. Well, a little bit off actually. Yeah, in that range, right around 411. So I mean, there is potential up there. Oh, the 430. Is the how far is the spread? Oof, damn 430s. Good lord, brother. I'm looking at the contracts right now. See that I can usually I would just say no, but and what did you say? 9 days out, 430s. Those have just been bleeding. Actually, if you go look at them, uh, those have been bleeding pretty badly. So I mean, maybe you catch them at a low, but you would need a massive. So in order to and I will say this, we've done this before, but Tesla is a beast, dude, when it comes to grabbing target-based options. But not only that, if you catch it before the meme volume comes in, before everybody else hears about, or as it breaks, your contracts will. I mean, I've seen ridiculous percentages come off of this one, but what it takes is a massive move. People need to know that it's moving, and then you get that excess volume. And what that does, or what that would do, is push the volume or the. So you might right now. So let's look actually for 9 days out. The volume drops out basically at 420, right? Which is actually a floor that I have above us, but it drops off pretty much completely for the most part. It starts dropping at 420, 422.50 on a normal basis, right? When Tesla is moving, which again has not happened anytime recently, these contracts $100 out of the money will have volume. And I have personally, and Manny and myself have both traded Tesla $100 out of the money. Now, obviously, that's scalping, keeping it low risk, but the volume will stretch out that far. This is one of those stocks that if you have a target or a play, like it's important that you hold to your target because again, we look at this on the weekly, and if this is to go and break and move down to 396 or 370, I mean, you're going to see a massive increase in volume on those contracts. So how do I know when a box will break out? Typically by counting to three. I know that sounds extremely simple, but typically the third time that you test anything, is usually where that tension is highest, the highest probability for it to break. But I always look for a candle close outside of containment, right? So if you were looking at Tesla short out of this box, a candle close below the floor or at the floor would signify potential, well, signal continuation to the downside, and same thing to the upside. A candle close outside or up against a overhead resistance 1, 2, 3, and you can go test this out for yourself. You can literally go and count inside of an area of consolidation how many times you tap both sides, and most of the time it'll be three. I mean, even here is three. So yeah, that's four, but you still go. Is there a way to predict an options value if the underlying gap goes up X amount? Yes, you're tracking it via Greeks. Delta, gamma, gamma adds to delta. Delta is the probability is often factored in as a potential probability. So if you have like a 0.36 delta, there's a 36% possibility that that's how they interpret it. I don't give it I don't care about that. at all. As far as like calculating its probability, like that's not for me. I'd rather just take my trade, um, but don't the Greeks change as price change? But that's trackable, Lizard. Gamma adds to delta. Gamma is the so delta tracks the rate of change for the value of that contract. Um, and gamma adds to delta, and so you can predict how much gamma or delta is going to go up based on your gamma. But I mean, yeah, you could use an option calculator. I mean, you could use ChatGPT. So the Greeks from Greece, yes, you have to actually call somebody you know in Greece, and they're the only people on Earth who can calculate the options worth for you. I have a good friend in Mykonos who, I mean, I call him and he's right away, with a side of feta and olive oil. Opa! Yeah, the feta. Nah, I'm just joking. Obviously, hopefully, no one took that serious. I thought Greeks were fraternities and sororities. No, no, you actually you can calculate the people in those fraternities, and it's not as useful as calling somebody in Greece.
Hey, Potter, could you take a look at CoreWeave for me?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
No worries.
I'm a bad.
The contracts were too expensive for me.
You just wanna feel the pain.
Just to kind of confirm that I think I know what I'm looking at.
Okay, so this is where I want people to tell a story, right? So let's tell a story. Structure. Price escapes. One, two, three. One, two, three. Pop, reaches a high, fails, comes back down, punches through the same box that it makes, moves down to its low, touches its floor. Ugh, right? Now, and we'll bring that up and out of respect to the wick. Now, with that being said, right, what are we always going to do in these situations, folks? Price moves down, bounces, moves back up, touches the same overhead resistance, but moves sideways inside of it. So, how do we address this? I'll show you. Like that. So, we're focusing on the most recent price action. You might be like, well, why? Why are we ignoring all of this? Because this is that. If I reclaim the floor, I'm reclaiming cost basis, which is the 50% mark of every, oh God, tasty, delicious, right? Every single box. If I recover the 96.75, I'm clearing or potentially clearing the overhead candles across here. If I break through that 50% mark, which again, we're looking at the wicks at 98.32. So this is going to be a step-by-step process. Now, where's the floor? Looks like it's here. Where are you hanging on to? It looks like there. But instead of just guessing, I can move down. Ah, bring the floor down a little bit more, right? And we still have a palpable retest at $90.11. Let's verify. 1 hour time frame. Draw what's underneath you, what's above and what's below. So that was a good punchback. Beautiful punchback. More empty space. Adjust. Look. Adjust. Uh-oh. So what happened here, right? I missed this. On the 1 hour time frame, which this can help. Listen, don't be discouraged. This is actually, I can turn an old dusty box, pause, into something that's tradable, right? And I'll explain how. So yes, we did have a box here. Yes, price did move up. And yes, it also did punch through that box, distributing the volume down. Now it did so too fast. And so now that we've punched back, we've filled up the majority of that empty space wick to wick. So what's step one, right? In order to get in or punch back through this box, 73.50, step one. Now we'll look down here and see how we can make that happen, but we at least have some lines in the sand as far as what needs to occur. Second's going to be cost basis. But what's in between cost basis and here? Nothing. It's pretty empty. So that would allow for price to move pretty fluidly. And again, you would be looking to your left and you would be targeting that empty space up to 103.65 on a break through these triggers. So I would say for an hourly setup, there's still quite a bit that needs to occur, and you have the danger, right, of potentially moving right back down, right? If this floor or this retest doesn't play out at 89.50, this is all easy to fill. So a bounce off of 89.39 at minimum, but let's move down one more time. Not bad. You left empty space behind. You're looking at a retest of 91.67 to attempt a move through this range, and that's going to be 92.50. So there's a lot. So, and one thing I want to point out here, right, is you notice how much analysis or how much I just had to go and do, and as far as risk to reward, right? Yeah, there's empty space to the downside and just a big green bar that we could definitely go down and eat into. But as far as the upside is concerned, nothing is relevant until 98.32. And then the price targets are rather limited, right? Where you would have, because there is so much lower time frame smoke or lack of empty space, there's still green candles in the way, floor here. So I think the most straightforward setup is a punch or move through 94.85 over 98.41 and up to that 102, but it's going to require a lot of your time and energy. So if
Okay, thank
Kate,
you.
yeah, I know that was long-winded, but I felt like that was probably what I needed to do. And if you were looking at a punchback through this box, just looking at the 4 hour, I wouldn't I wouldn't blame you. And I would probably I drew it the same exact way. Obviously, diving down, we get to see the greater detail, right, of what really occurred. 4 hour obviously, but 24 hour, you wouldn't be able to see any of that, and it still would be technically, right, a box of sorts. So
Yeah, that's the problem. I didn't keep going down.
yeah.
And like you were saying, that the volume for that most recent, I think it was a 15-minute box. I didn't draw that out either.
Yeah. So top-down analysis very important, and the longer it takes you to get through that top-down analysis, the more time you're going to be required to have to watch it normally. So that's why I focus on the easy setups or the clear setups that empty space, lack of resistance, because obviously I'm looking for price to. I don't want to have to go, and search every single time that we're down there. Um, about to purchase my Discord. So stock option noble. I'm just gonna say this real quick before you buy anything from me. Um, go check out my YouTube first. Um, just again, extra verification on whether or not this is going to be the right fit for you. I am again, if you're new here, I teach people how to be independent. I teach them my strategy. Um, so that's the goal here. It's not, again, I say no signals, but we are trading as a group. The most important thing that I offer though is the workshop, not the Discord. um the Discord is for people who hopefully have already taken the workshop. Oh my god, don't ever do that again. I can't do that. That's creepy. Hold on, I gotta change this alert. Where did that come from? Who? CRW? Oh, I just put that there. Look at me. Do you care about world events? What do you mean, do I care about world events? Oh, dope. Okay, stock option noble. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, before people join my Discord, I want them to or join or even get the workshop. I want them to feel good about the decision that they're making, which more evidence is typically needed. So, what is the best video I have on YouTube? There's a 3 hour one. I think it's the PBS condensed. Um, I'd have to go and look, man. I'm gonna be honest with you though. I would ask somebody who's watched my videos, not me. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I think they're all pretty much on point. You know what I mean? But I would more or less. Does anybody in here have a favorite YouTube video that they watched before joining, or even now? KDP is tomorrow morning. Yeah. Yes. Oh, will I have another workshop in the future? Um, I don't know if I'm being honest with you. The one where I turned around. Get this guy out of here. Kava ER tomorrow. Uh, you know what, dude? This one's actually kind of, it actually looks like KDP, but 83.37 would be an obvious potential. We'll look at the risk reward on that. And then because of how empty everything is down below you, you could consider a potential short to like 55, 55. I think that if we did it, end up rejecting here, you might end up seeing more than just that. But oh, crazy, dude. He said Netanyahu definitely sent you. Okay. The educational playlist. Gapped up and gapped down slip. Oh, that's within the workshop. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna
what
say I have a favorite workshop video, but not a YouTube one.
yeah. So the workshop's obviously. No, the workshop is on my website. It's potterstockstrading.com. And there's an option for 6 months. The yearly everything comes like obviously you can tell I don't want people to join if they're not going to or they haven't taken the workshop. Um, there are some self-learned traders who've watched all my YouTube videos and been watching me for years. Obviously they're allowed to slip through the cracks, but um yeah, that the everything comes with the workshop, but there's 6 months, so that way if you want to hang out in the Discord, you can activate that anytime you want. But that's about it. And class is on March 1st. So if you do get the workshop, you get to actually get to see the fresh one. All right. Oh, 420. Yeah, KDP tomorrow. How long it takes you to pass an eval? Austin, I use real money, man. I only played with a prop firm one time, and I ended up making too much money and had to lose money on purpose. I don't like the prop firms, man, telling me to stop making money. Dude, that shit was weird. I'm like, dude, the opportunities are here. What are you telling? No, that happened on all of them. I did some naughty stuff, Potter. Okay, I took the bounce, but without confirmation, still came out green. I mean, is there really a way to confirm a bounce other than taking it off a bounce level? I don't think that's bad. Damn, dude, you tore it up, bro. Nice. Damn, you were scalping all over the place. What time on March 1st? So it's struggling for 1 year to stay profitable, part of Rusty Rod's group, but now struggling. Yeah, so I'm going to be hosting a class. I'll be making a video on it. I'm trying to decide when but it's going to be this week. I'm going to do a basically a Potterbox synopsis where I'm going to try to crunch as much information that's pertinent into like an hour and a half, 2 hour window where I'm just going to give you the most important aspects of my strategy. And then at that point, you can watch my live streams and YouTube channel. I'll be answering questions, potentially taking people up on live. But the goal is to obviously teach everybody, especially if you have unfortunately been scammed by if you've been railed by the Rusty Rod.
Hey, whatever happened to BBL Drizzy?
BBL Drizzy?
Yeah, he's still around.
I'm sure he's around. I was like, at first I thought he was talking about just Drake.
No,
Market
not
ass.
Drake. Did I say the name wrong? What's
No,
Bron's
no,
name?
no, 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 no. I don't know what the real name is, but I'm not.
I think
BBL Ruben.
Ruben. That's what it is. BBL
Oh yeah,
Ruben.
he's in here. Yeah, BBL
Yeah,
Ruben.
I think his real name is Christofferson.
That's awesome. That sounds like some fancy. That sounds like a pinky out name right there. But yeah, he's still in here, dude. He's if you look at the gains page, he was trying to I think he's still trying to slap the dog shit out of silver. Yeah, he had 158% trade on silver yesterday. I assume he probably held that though into today. I saw that Rusty Rod Plus you did about Rusty and his monitors. I can't unsee that anymore. Yeah, I think that probably really bugged him because he's threatening to sue me now. I said, go ahead, dude, please, because then you got to go throw it out all on the table and prove me wrong. I did grab a couple of those, yeah. Any other earnings happening right now that we should be aware of? Anything? Oh, let me see. Look at the earnings chart. Oh, there it is. What do we have today? Hims and okay, so Hims is right now. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's that hot dog water. That's that super hot dog water. So the fuck is that? Nope. Nope. Damn. Where'd you find that one? Yeah, well, that wasn't for me anyway. What the hell was I doing? Probably analysis for somebody else. That's actually a monthly bucket. It's not a pattern. I'm just calling it a bucket. Look at that thing. Wow. Long period of consolidation right there. All right. Well, tomorrow we got Cypher Mining. That one looks a little heavy on the weekly 24-hour. Oh my God. Get out of my face. That's terrible. Home Depot's tomorrow. What's up? How can you trade without looking at 10 monitors? Dude, I struggle with that every day, man. It's so hard. I only have 3 monitors and, you know, I only usually trade 2 to 3 things at a time, so, you know, I have to I don't know. There's an image to sell. You know what I mean? I don't like Home Depot either. That's stupid. You know what? I wish I could place a bet on Kalashi for what do we think the chances are that Rusty Rod replaces all of his monitors with matching ones now?
I want to place a bet on Kalshi that what are the odds you ever say the name right?
I'm gonna replace that grill of his, bro. With all that
Brother,
money he has.
Yeah. Yeah, right. He had mentioned something
My
about
bet is that
Fucking
he's
look,
going to use his
that
girl for
motherfucker look like he
promo.
bit into a fucking rock when he smiles, bro.
my God. What'd you say,
He's going to
Astro?
use his girl
That
as a promo.
motherfucker bit into a rock, bro. That's what his teeth look like.
Oh no, I was talking to Astro. Yeah, and he does. He looks like he munches on gravel. Gravel muncher.
You bit the
Alright.
boom out of a bomb.
Damn.
Hey, you guys want to see my wife?
That was awkward. That has always been
What?
one of the most. Yeah, bro. He used his wife to get more views, dude, and like kind of like
Oh
Loki admitted to it too. It was like
God, dude.
it was rough. It was actually
That-
really one of the dudes that used to stream with him was streaming from inside of a trailer, which again, you know, where you start doesn't matter. You could start in a trailer and make it out, but like obviously I'm not really going to listen to you if that's like your main residence because again, I'd like to see some level of success. Which I mean, you know, maybe there's some hermit out there who's like a super stock genius, but that guy wasn't it. But I think because of that, he ended up like booting him because he didn't want that like because I would see their streams every once in a while and it was like 3 or 4 people watching, so he like really invested in like putting all the lights together, the long desk, putting his wife in the picture. So HD does not HD doesn't look good for me for earning. The only thing that I see potentially on HD is a leg down to 350 if you lose that 369 area. That would be pretty much in the maybe 358. So What's my Middle
It-
Eastern watch? What is my Middle East tension watch list for this week? The overall ETFs, my boy. I'm not trying to front run war. This shit's getting crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's out of control, bro.
Yeah, that's just a Middle East
Did
tension
you
watch list is crazy. What's
did you
up?
see the stuff about why we bombed again? Just saying, because after hours, I don't know if you're still live on everything, but the reason we bombed Iran.
They want
There's
that fucking Venezuela. The oil's too thick, bro. So they went over there to
No,
get.
I'm talking about before, like a couple months ago. But apparently, it was because a certain country
yeah.
had said that they were going to use nuclear force, and
Yes.
immediately, if the U.S. did not act.
I could sit here now for the next hour and show you since
At least.
1989, at least, and I'm pretty sure it goes back even further than then, where Netanyahu himself said over and over and over again that Iran was incredibly close to weapons of mass destruction, that it could be weeks away, it could be, and he really did try to sell that in front of Congress more times than I mean, at some point you'd be like, yo, what the fuck, bro? Where does your source? And like, he was like, highly reliable sources say that they're moving within the next couple of weeks. Again, I hear that and I immediately think about all of the land that they're trying to claim between the Nile and the Euphrates or whatever. That seems a high. The Greater Israel Plan. If you don't know what that is, go Google it. All right, I'm banned. But yeah, I mean, listen, we can talk about it now because I do not care. This is real real shit, and people need to know. You know, again, I'm not trying. I didn't come in to all of this knowledge looking to be biased on it, or to try to like pick a side. Just being a human, and checking sources is like shit does not add up. So.
That's the
Fucking
problem.
It's
Is like
just
sad,
weird.
bro.
whenever
It's sad,
whenever you
dude.
tell whenever you're telling someone, like for example, for me, it's my dad. Like you try to just say but like they always assume you went into it with a biased side. It's like, no, man. Like do some research. It just like it all kind of points back to the same area. It's not that that's what we want or what we're looking for.
No, I didn't want. No, I
Just
don't want
watch
to. I
the
don't want to hate it.
president of the United States push his chair in for him.
Yeah,
I'm
where
just
like,
saying.
yeah, like where does that ever happen? Um, but yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, there is, I mean, just even why is a small country in the Middle East trying so hard to make sure that our perception of their country is golden? Why do you need to do that? Probably because you're doing
Go
bad
watch.
shit. Why do yeah, I mean, it just, if you're doing that much, you're trying to buy TikTok so that way you have boots on the front line of the digital war. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. It's no longer conspiracy theories. It's no longer like they want us to fight their wars in the Middle East and keep sending them weapons and bombs so that they can expand. They're going to take Lebanon next. As soon as they can get away with annexing and seizing the West Bank, it's Lebanon next. And again, I don't want to know that. I didn't want to know that that was potentially going to happen. But they have children's books that they read their kids about why they can't go to Lebanon yet, but they will be in the future. Like, and you can go Google this for yourself. Wild shit.
Anybody who's doubting that, go watch the Mike Huckabee and Tucker Carlson debate. It
Yeah,
happened last week,
I watched
and
that
Tucker's
too.
just basically they're trying to get Mike Huckabee, who's our ambassador to Israel, to explain why, like one solid reason as to why they're so important, and I think it'll open your
Huckabee.
eyes.
Yeah, Huckabee is, I mean, and the whole like, again, like we have to do this because they're the chosen, like that, or this is like, whoever, what is it, whoever blesses Israel will be blessed. It's like that
Not
does
my
not,
tax dollars.
right. I'm sorry, but like, if this is really what God wants,
I'm
then
following
I
the example,
guess,
bro.
and I'm not saying that I believe that it is, but like, if this is the kind of God that we're working with here, then like, send me to Buddha, dude. Something else. Give me different
Real.
options. I need to, because like this is dark, bro. You cannot sit here and be like, the Bible says I have a claim to all of this land. and because we've suffered and we've been scattered all across the world, that we need a homeland. And so what do you expect? You're moving into a place and pushing people out of their homes, and then when they fight back, you're saying, well, it's anti-Semitism, they just hate Jews. So it's like, and I know somebody just said that, here, like, I just saw a comment, and it's like, um I have a friend in Iran and he says Iran is no good. Okay, well, your one friend doesn't mean that we need to bomb the ever living shit out of a country because we don't like it. We're not the world's police. We don't I don't want to my tax dollars going to funding, problem. And usually anytime there is a problem in the world, I mean, we could definitely possibly be tied to it. I mean, we destabilize so many countries in order to extract their resources from them, and then we displace their people with different cultures move into typically where we are because people are trying to be hospitable or there's a cry. And then you get culture people blaming, oh, these people are, well, you know what, why don't you get back to the damn motherfucking root of the problem and your expansionist country going and destabilizing governments, taking down potential democracies. It just, again,
Stifling innovation and social policies.
exactly. And then
See, I told you it didn't work.
Yeah, and
Another
then
real education thing for people to watch is just go on YouTube and watch Iran in the 1970s compared to now.
March 1st will not be on YouTube, no. And I just want to make this clear. I have my questions about all religion, and if you're Jewish, fine. Totally okay. I feel the same way about all religions, and I'm unsure. But if you're a Zionist and you believe that land should be taken from other people because you were promised, and that I'm not cool with, and I'm okay with saying it, and I don't think that people need to be scared of saying it anymore on with the fear of being called an anti-Semite because you don't want other people to. I mean, I know most of you guys have seen the videos where, like, this is before October 7th. And I just watched a video. I hate that I see these things, but it was a 14-year-old little girl who got shot 21 times by the IDF. This was like in 2004. But there was a video of this family sitting in front of their home that had been moved into by a Zionist. And he's like, and it's actually turned into a meme, but he's like, well, if I don't take it, then somebody else will. And it's just like, well, how do you expect people to respond? How would you respond as an American if I said that I had the deed to your land because of some biblical reference? You would probably fight me, and I would expect that you would do so. And how would I make sure that people thought that you were the bad guy? I would say, look at him being a terrorist. Look at him fighting back. And do I agree with how everything goes down or
He
supporting
accosted me.
Right.
The
You're like,
problem-
dude,
one-
I would resist with great violence if I was in their shoes. Think about it. You
100%.
have
One-
nothing to lose. Everything's already gone. So anyway,
One
sorry.
issue is they make it very hard, and they loosely make it hard to put a label, because when you're talking about, again, not to throw anybody off with this comparison, but like if you're talking about Muslims, like how
Yeah.
many amazing Muslims do we all know, right? That
Yeah.
are amazing. And
That are in
then
here.
there's such a separation between saying Muslims and Islamic extremists, right? Like we have very different titles for that. And so when we talk about whatever quote, the Jewish people, it's not the people we're talking about, but they
No.
turn it as into that. They make it seem like, oh, when we say these things about,
It's a
the
shield.
top 1% of you that are running the government, or running the world,
Yeah.
trying to do as you please, they make it seem like we're talking about our friend Zach, the Jew, which
Yeah.
obviously none of us are. So
Yeah.
just backing
You're not
you
on
up,
TikTok
you're not
anymore, right?
Oh yeah, I
just
definitely
backing
am.
you up, you're not targeting the fucking random people who grew up celebrating Hanukkah. You're targeting the people who are running the world demonic.
Yeah, no, I mean and
And drone strike.
well, the fact of the matter is, and I'm just being real with you, I've never met, and I had a misconception of Muslims as well. I mean, I was raised in a military household with good old American fucking stepdad, whatever. And the perception that I had was, I mean, and even if you're, where I was, where you really didn't have that exterior information, how is every Muslim portrayed in video games or films? Think about it. Exactly. Right? But you know what that I have been watching over the last 2 years? There's a couple of different creators and people who I want to see what it's like there. You know what I mean? And they're traveling through these countries, and it's like your average everyday Muslim person is pretty awesome. And obviously we have a handful of people in here who are Muslim, and they're wonderful human beings. And so like to put a blanket on, I mean, and that's what Mike Huckabee did too. And a bunch of other senators is they're like straight up saying that Muslims are the problem. And it is directly out of, you know, the Talmud, excuse me, that this is stated that Christians and Muslims can never be friends because it would mean the end. And this is, again, the Talmud is not like law. Yes, a debate, and there is both on both sides, you know, people who argue it, but a lot of these do stand as mission statements, and that's one of them. And we have over since for the last, I don't know, um 80, 60 years, it's good. And then with 9/11, it put the nail in the coffin. And it's kind of crazy too, because every religion has extremists. Every single religious group
Crusaders.
The
in the
Crusaders.
world,
Yep.
exactly, that are extremists, who are ready to do extreme shit, which is wild to me. How do you read the
those
words of Jesus?
Rastafarians.
Yeah, why do you read? Yeah, maybe not the Rasta. An extremist Rastafarian might be your best case scenario.
Chill,
So,
man. Chill.
by the way, KDP kind of off to a good start here. Not to break off to fucking stocks, but good conversation. But this is not a bad way to close price, folks.
Those are
But,
good 23 ingredients right there.
I
yeah.
thought that shit had earnings today, Potter. Or is it tomorrow?
No, it's tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Oh, got you. Okay. I thought it was there.
It's okay, way.
Chingala way. What's up, Astro?
Just riding around in a zebra truck.
You know, it's because.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, trade
Lucky
with-
man.
This is ridiculous. Those profiles.
All right, later, guys.
Yeah, see
All
you
right, brother.
later.
Peace.
We-
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, guys, you know, again, it's sometimes I think back and, you know, it's like, dude, when you're a kid, right? The way that we were raised, the way that I would remember being raised, I remember the melting pot, right? Like that was my conception of like how America was supposed to be modeled. It was like we're one of the only countries, you know, that
Blending innovation.
right, that's blending that together, and that's what America is. And now it's wild to me. And now it's like, you know, white people are in danger, you know, like or the Christian faith, or like, dude, maybe if you didn't kick and scream so much, right, about other people's beliefs and the fact that they're coming to your country because they want a new life or they want something different, or you know, but that doesn't mean that like there was actually I did work down in Oregon, or in below Portland. I think it was in Oregon. His name is not in Oregon City, but there was a mosque there, and when they were putting up the plans to build it, I mean, they were like, people are like, this is going to be a terrorist feeding ground, and like I don't know if anybody's ever been to a mosque, but like that's not the dead opposite of what's happening in there. I mean, it is serene. But you need to I don't know who you're talking about. What time March 1st will it start? It's at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. But I constantly I constantly am, you know, being fed via algorithms um contradicting opinions or perspectives, and I see extremists on both sides. And I do think that it's easy, right, to take any sort of Muslim or even Arab resistance and put the blanket of extremism on it to demonize the entire people. And that to me is like where we get into it. And even, I mean, even now, right, with Jewish people, like there's a blanket that's being, and it's a, you know, a big blanket being thrown over, and there's probably a lot of decent people that are going to suffer because of it. And so you can't sway
Don't
too.
use blankets. Not everyone's cold.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's one of those things that I mean, I don't want to be in a world where we're stealing land. I thought we were over that shit. I thought the borders were drawn, but apparently we're still nothing's changed. Humans haven't either. And they're going to justify their claims to these lands by any means possible. And it's like now we're funding it, and so I feel like as an American, it's like, man, this should be like number one. One of the biggest things is like we got to get our hands out of fucking every single our tax dollars are being spread all over the fucking world and concentrated on countries that receive more benefits and live better than we do. So meanwhile, we got veterans. Savannah has a terrible amount of homeless veterans. And at the VA, again, I know, maybe some of you guys even might work or have worked with the VA, but like, these institutions are not either A, funded enough, or B, supporting these veterans enough where they have the resources to get back on their feet.
Micro-silicide for all veterans.
Yeah, well, you guys still got to get a job after that, but we should be in
Clarity comes first.
Yeah. If you lived in an Arab country, you would not have the same views. Are you saying that all of those Arab countries and everybody in them are all violent? See, that's somebody who's a victim of propaganda. Like, I mean, again, who is, if it's not always my business on how another country is ran, but like we're trying to find justifications to obliterate, a whole country or cities because you don't like Muslims. Like, just say it
With
out loud.
munitions that cost more than their GDP.
Exactly, dude. So, I mean, for Tesla, do you set up a box by looking back a month? Yeah, I mean, you're looking back at the most recent structure. In this case, right, we're looking back all the way to May of 2025 for a target underneath us. And then as of most recently, we're looking for a candle underneath, or if you're short, you're looking for a candle underneath 394.69. So I was born in Egypt and know what it's like to live in that country. My best friend is from Egypt, and funny, he goes back every year. Doesn't seem to have the same opinion as you. But if you have an opinion that or you have a certain bias, then you can back that up by actually I saw this piece by what was it? I think his name, not Hassan, Mendy, I think his name is, but he said that one of the best jobs you can get is leaving one of these Muslim countries and then talking shit about it, because you have an immediate job, especially in the West. It's crazy. And they will, yeah, they pay you basically to keep pushing that narrative. And I'm not saying I know what it's like to live in Egypt, and I'm sure, like every other country, they've got their issues. But you should also look up some of Egypt's history and the colonizing forces around it, because that entity has done a great deal of damage in destabilizing their governments. Israel had a hand in that as well. I think if we could just stop destabilizing, like in order to suck resources dry. If that means I can't have an iPhone 18, I'm okay with it.
First, fix problems at home. Don't point at others.
Yeah.
Our education system needs far too much help before we start worried about how to deal with other people.
Dude, we've been defunding our education for decades now, and now
It's weird.
we're seeing the end result of it. Man, we could
Lack
have
of critical thinking. So you
Yeah.
mean you can't actually critically think to say this isn't right?
No, you have more of a mob mentality, and that's actually the hardest to come back from, because when you dig your heels in so deep, you've broken off relationships, you've separated yourself possibly from your community, and now you have to rescind on all of that. Some people would rather die. And that shit actually keeps me up at night, because I'm like, you can't change these motherfuckers' minds. They gotta, like, it's gonna be a suffering right? But anyway, sorry. Can you go over the strat for QQQ and IWM? I know you're primarily short with hedges to the upside. Yes. So right now on IWM is 261.85, which is the floor up above us. We're bouncing pretty well and looking to potentially gap up above 261. That would be the first and second overall, or the first target would be that 261.85. And then 260, 250. As far as the strat or applying the strategy to this, any sort of break over the 2 hour 50% at 264, or the 4 hour actually still holds. The only difference is I'd probably give it that expansion there. So at the moment, I think that we might just be up for a retest in this area, and that's where I want to see if price will move through this structure. If you start moving this volume out of the way and start crossing, right, these levels like 265, you're going to be displacing a lot of sellers. And yeah, a reversal could happen off of that. But one thing that I always look for as a whole in that potential reversal theory is how price is moving. So if you were to gap up all the way or pop up and move up into this floor on IWM, the higher probability is that you pop up, fill whatever empty space is above you, and then price retreats back down to fill the gap, which honestly is one of my, I love gap trades because you can let them go hunt for liquidity and build or put like, okay, we have this floor here, 261.95 on the open, right? Theoretically, if we were to open up right here, right, it would be right there at the bottom of this little 5-minute structure right here. And that's 260, 270, right? And so in order for, if we open here, whoa, it would be that first 260, 265 and that 263. At that point, if price, and this is where it gets beautiful, right? Because it comes in stages. If you wick up there and price gets driven back down below that floor. All right, this is good. Sorry about that. But if it loses that floor, right, it would be here at that 261, 262 floor. If you lose that, you know there's continuation to the downside. So honestly, that gap up would be pretty fire. So I worked in education for 16 years before leaving. It's worse than I can explain. I mean, dude, just watching my kids go through the school systems in the past and, you know, even sometimes now, I mean, they're handing him fucking packets and like, dude, I've told his teacher straight up, I was like, you know, you have 8 hours to teach him and he comes home more confused about shit than he does anything else. And I know that, you know, individual behavior and stuff like that can be a variable, but the fact of the matter is like you're just handing them packets. And I did the same thing when I was a kid. We had a little bit more extracurricular activities, but they've cut those too. That shit pisses me off, dude. When we start looking at education being defunded to fund other shit, it's like, who the fuck are you? That's, dude, that is the future of our fucking country. You teach
And we're
that's
shortcoming it for what?
And we should be sitting our
What's
money
the
there instead
benefit?
of fucking other places, bro. Fucking
yeah,
ridiculous.
and most Americans on either side, and I mean Republican and Democrat, are in agreement on that as far as civilians. You know,
Propagandized, weaponized.
right, but instead they're throwing out. You remember? I mean, think about all that. Do you notice that nobody talks? We're not talking about transgender people anymore. They got us. They got people fucking good on that shit. They got them fired up, made them fight, passed a bunch of laws that had nothing to do with the shit, and then fucking kept it moving. On to the next. What's the next fucking cookie we can throw out there to make them fight? And it
They
pisses
never
me
came in
off.
my bathroom.
I'll come in your bathroom. Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa. Sorry.
Yo, clip that, baby.
Don't clip that. No, Alex, you can take off, bro. You don't have to reshare this if you don't want, man.
No, clip it. Clip it.
Oh, Astro's here. You got it, baby.
Freaking packets, yo. Yeah, Will Futures, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Burberry blender. Yeah. It's honestly something that because of who's fighting and what's happening, it's a hard subject to talk to people about. And so I think that, I mean, we're not going to talk about this until years later, but seeing all of this shit go down on our phones and then just resuming normal life that shit's not that shit. You don't just look at people being bombed into little bits and then get back to fucking like like all right, I guess
And
I
now
gotta eat
back to
this.
our regular programming.
Yeah, like all right, go ahead and put this hubcap back on, or back to candlesticks. I mean, this shit fucks my head up sometimes, because I'm like, dude, I don't want to be in the like, it's tough to be in a world where, just like when you see someone getting their ass beat, sometimes when it's justified, I guess whip out your phone, but it's like, somebody can be assaulted or hit and people are quicker to whip out their phones and just watch, not act, not do anything. And maybe that right there is a big pointer finger to how docile and non-confrontation. I mean, we are confrontational online, but then like teeth are only bared there. And then when it's real life, it's like, when they remove the gate between the dogs and then all of a sudden they stop barking. And instead of barking, we're filming. And it's like, man, that shit drives me nuts too, man. Makes me feel like an old head too, for real. Cause I'm like, why are you motherfuckers filming this shit? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like when people are being dragged or beaten by police and there's 1,000 people around, I'm like, dude, you could at least separate the two. Like, you could get that person up out of there, bro. I'm sorry, but like it's everybody's fear of I mean, they got us, man. They got us. So what's the name of the new TikTok channel gonna be? Yeah, you know what? I think I'm flying under the radar right now, if I'm being honest with you. I worry about taking action probably for the same reason a lot of other people do. I got kids, I want to protect what's mine and stuff, but I'm not going to have anything, eventually if they keep grinding away our rights and taking more and more. And I just saw that PLTR earnings call and Peter Thiel, like, and that dude is nuts. He is nuts, bro. That's the worst thing. And it's so funny because, I remember people
Wait,
talking
did you
about
say Palantir and Peter Thiel or the Alex,
Huh?
whatever his name is?
Alex. Sorry, not Peter.
Yeah.
It's so easy to put those two together. But yeah, listening to him talk, it's like, dude, that man's dissociated from what his product does. He just thinks it's like this cool little program that's like, like
Bro,
fucking up the
$2.99
world.
for
I'm like,
lifetime, bro. What the
huh?
fuck? He's charging $2.99 for a lifetime.
Who is?
That dude Alex.
No way, bro.
No, wrong conversation.
Oh, Alex Karp. Oh yeah, no. We were talking about the owner of PLTR, not Alex Trades Options. Although
I
that,
thought
yeah.
you guys were talking about Alex, bro.
No, but he did. I mean, yeah, he lowered his lifetime because I think people were not
He's
joining.
Scamming, bro. Straight scamming right there, dude.
That's desperation right there. That's the light bills are coming off.
I love how you keep roasting that dude, though, bro. Keep doing it.
Dude, I do that with the most energy. Like that shit's like stiff arming somebody whose feet are already off the ground. You know what I mean? Like it's minimal effort. And I
Yeah.
I
Fuck that guy,
DM'd
though.
him. I found him on Instagram. I'm a troll, guys. I am. I mean, I try to use it, and I try to use it. I try to use it like a a cop does his badge. Justice. It's like taking maybe a bad behavior and applying it to the right location. This is all me justifying it. It's wrong. But I hit him with something in his DMs, bro. And I woke up the next morning and I mean, it was at least 30 messages in a row. Like, and then emojis, bro. He was slamming the emojis at me, the clown faces, dude. And all I sent back to was I sent him a GIF. I said, got him.
Got him.
I was like, yeah. Using maybe a negative personal attribute for good, like Batman, He's mad that somebody took his parents out and he wants to take someone out, but instead he just beats them to a fucking pulp for robbing a fruit stand and then leaves them there. It's awesome. Yeah, anything but disgusting. Yeah, the fact that we don't have people arrested and in jail already for these files
Ridiculous.
is redonkulous, dude.
Dude, I went down that rabbit hole, bro.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I had to like actually I spent like 2 hours going through them, and obviously, you can only move through a fraction of it. But dude, I had to like isolate myself in my house. I was heated, bro.
Dude, I
Heated.
want to kill somebody, bro.
Yeah,
I, mean,
I mean,
I saw that fucking Skippy video, bro, and that was it. I stopped watching it.
we'll try to
That was
word it
it.
differently. Unalive,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were live still. I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
you were
no,
live.
it's my fault. So,
My
bro,
bad.
wait for the sweep of Netanyahu lows and it's free longs. Yeah. You heard about Justin Weirlin? No, what happened? What happened? Ooh, fill me in. Fill me in. Let me know. Where's Nasdaq going? Let's look at the key. Let's look at futures right now. Listen,
It's in
I'm
the range, bro. It's in the range.
bro. Yeah, it is.
It's in the range.
It's between the floor or this floor here and this ceiling here. So I would imagine that's your play space. But what I'm really anticipating, right, and I think maybe I'm not alone in this, is and I'm again ready to get out of a position and take it in whichever way it decides. But if we cannot, right, with all of this overhead energy, keep price down, and we're going to be talking about this possibly in the future, you know, as this empty space gets filled. But this is where we remove a lot of selling. And it would be I mean, honestly, at this point, if you break over 20, you know, this, what is that, 25.2 basically, and over cost basis at 25.3, that's where, I mean, you've got a massive rip to the upside potentially. So, and my question, which has been my question all along, right, is how many times are we going to keep fucking rejecting that buy floor before we're exhausted and we don't have that juice? So we're going to have to turn sellers into buyer juice. Somebody's just joining my live stream, I bet, and they're like, yo, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But we need to liquidate sellers, and that's going to take a big injection of cash, which is typically going to take what? A catalyst. So I think that the trajectory and the overhead sentiment is still down. And even this bounce right here, you know, yes, it is solid. Yes, we've already retested that mark. So yes, it's probably, you know, going to try to creep up a little bit higher, but I'm trying to find resolution in major direction change, not what's happening in here. This is all hot dog water. And I'm looking, you know, again for hot dog popsicles. That didn't make any sense. I take that back. I take that back. That didn't land. I didn't even think about that for long enough before I said it. But yeah, I want to catch the bigger break here. So is this lucid? I feel lucid right now.
On the 24 potter on NQ, I got it in a big ass box.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
I boxed that whole thing up. That's what I did. I just boxed it.
I mean, that is
that up.
also true.
Yeah,
100%,
that's what I
right?
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I got. But I don't know how. I mean, I still have it in the range.
It is 100%. You know, I think being smushed. Let's see here. It's funny too because this level, right? If you kind of draw it across the board, it looks like price is fights here, especially. But it's this floor here that keeps us down, right? So I mean, today's close is not. So let me tell you what I think based off of what I see. I think that you could gap up here, but if you gap up, right, especially on the Qs, if we gap up and it's anywhere in that 604 level, that's where we run the risk, right? And what we're creating right now is that volume pack to punch down through. So if we gap up again in here, it's that punch down that would likely or would be potentially set up to occur. But it would also, right, how we fall to fill that gap and how we bounce would also determine whether I'm going to be hanging on to my shorts or whether I'm going to be possibly taking it long. So what's the difference between swing and options trading? Is it how long you hold the trade? So it is actually what's the difference between swing and so swing trading, you can swing options. So swing trading is just holding a position overnight or for extended amount of time. And then, I mean, options trading is just doing anything, buying and selling options. So it's just about that, about it. Diego, what's up, dude? No, I do not use instant funding. Hot dog popsicles sound atrocious. Yeah, that wouldn't be my first choice. So I thought that we didn't discuss politics. This is not politics. This is like our everyday life that's being affected. And by not talking about it, we are exemplifying cowardice, and I refuse to be that. But with that being said, I am going to, in any other occasion, right? If it was like a policy on, you know, uh, I don't know, fucking uh, taxing, leather trade. Like, obviously, I'm not invested. We don't need to talk about it. But in this day and age, we're shifting. So I don't know, man. Yeah, everything is a result of politics, and the whole like we don't talk about that. It's like, yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should at this point in time for sure. So
Policy creates living.
I think that the whole saying, again, there are periods where where we don't need to be talking about politics when it comes to like the disagreements between MAGA and liberals, the far end of both sides of the political spectrum. And that's a lot of the nonsense that people were fighting about, a year ago in my Discord, and that's lunacy to me. You're not discussing policy. You're discussing your fucking feelings getting hurt or who you think is the best president. And I don't really give a shit about that, nor do I want to hear it. I would rather be discussing what's actually going on in the world around us, or what's actually affecting us, which is again the policies and politics that are being played out right now in front of our face. So, bro's voice is so soothing he could be a narrator. Are you guys, dude, quit gassing me up with this shit or I'm gonna become a voice actor, man. You know what I'm saying? What do they do? Something like this? They tap the
He has the best voice.
S voice, #1 voice. But I especially love Ivanka's voice. She's my daughter. Could be my
She's
wife.
beautiful.
Sometimes me and Michael Jordan go and squeeze her butt. I'm sorry. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. All right. You got to get out of here, dude.
Fuck your Potter.
I don't know if you guys saw that clip, but Michael Jordan is not my goat. That was weird.
He's not my basketball player.
Yeah, people are really like, Kyrie's my MVP now. No, Kyrie's not my MVP too either because he's on that flat earth, I got him up, whatever. Yeah, Jordan was off the yak, dude. Yeah. Trump is taking credit for bringing in a blizzard of 2026.
The weather.
That's good stuff. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We'll it's good talk though. I know some of you guys definitely didn't sign up for this, but we waited till the market was over, so
Oh, I missed the shit.
See you, buddy.
Bro.
huh?
It's good to be back, bro. I
Dude,
missed this last. It's good to be back, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's good to have you back, man. We missed you. And Astro, I missed you too, bro.
Miss you guys, man. No homo, but I miss you.
It's fine. Just send me a message.
I was thinking about you yesterday. Yeah, I don't think that's going a little far. The message is that's a lot of effort and I get sometimes when I'm typing I get scared and I forget where my fingers
It's fine.
are.
Let's play
just...
No Man's Sky. You're good at gaming. It's fine.
Oh, dude, right
Can
now.
you verbally assault me?
Oh,
It's popular.
God, that's a sound clip. There you go. What'd you say, Astro?
I said let's talk about this on No Man's Sky.
Right now, I am knees deep in Fallout right now, building Vault 88. So I can't do that yet.
It's fine. It's just an excuse.
Yo, he said we love an emotionally aware trading wizard. That's fire. What games do I play? What games do I
All the
play?
ones you don't.
Here, I'll pull up my Steam. Actually, speaking of it, I got to play Battlefield soon. I think they just dropped the new maps and stuff. So Battlefield, God of War,
No Man's Sky.
hold on, let's see.
Fortnite.
Hold on, I'm looking at all of them. Fortnite and Roblox? Get out of here, dude. No.
Oh, Sea of Thieves, Papa?
I haven't played that one in a while. So I got
He
squads.
played it for 2 minutes.
Don't look at the hours. Don't look at the hours, all right? I leave it up. Hold on, you guys can't
Look at
see.
Squad's hours.
If you go on TikTok, you can see what I'm talking about. But squads, that's an insane amount.
3 million hours.
That's 3,400, but I leave it on. I leave squads like on my screen. So like even when I was trading.
Yeah.
Helldivers, DayZ, Battlefield 6, Schedule 1, that was a fun game. Hogwarts, Hell Let Loose, Black Myth Wukong, Half Sword playtest, which is fucking fun. I play that one when I'm pissed off. Call of Duty, which is trash. I'll never play it again probably. But Age of Empires, Sea of Thieves, Squad. I don't really play Squad 44 anymore. Spider-Man, Mage Arena, Chivalry 2, Hard Bullet, which is a Steam game. Yeah.
Damn, bro, what you got? 10 terabytes?
What are you talking about? Dude, I have a fuck ton of memory on this PC.
He's got all of 50 terabytes, but he's
Bro,
only
he paid-
released 3% of it.
It was like a fucking car as much as you paid for that piece, bro.
You said
That
what?
shit has that PC that you got, that shit has everything, bro.
Yeah, I
That
told
shit-
him I said I want everything. Other than 9 hours on Rivals. Yeah, I played 9 hours of Marvel Rivals.
I just left it on.
That one I did not. It's cool, but it's I like the
Ivy made you.
It's just Overwatch, pretty much.
miss 49 out of 50 terabytes stored for Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, I beat that game though. I listen, when I've played Arma, and Arma's like Squad, but like I became a helicopter pilot on there, and if anybody ever played Squad, like it's hyper realism military. Like you stay with your squad, you take a truck out to the post or to the point, like you know you're fighting, inching along, mortars, artillery, helicopters, you know, landing. And so like I got that. I love games like that. I like a hyper realism.
Flying helicopters.
Flying helicopters is probably one of my favorite things to do, which is ironic because my stepdad flew helicopters and could have crashed, you know. And I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Then there was DayZ. Hey guys, you want a sandwich? Don't worry, I won't hurt you.
Listen, that's where the worst part of me trolling came out, because yeah, I would like poison some food, or I would like feed them something and like whack them over the head and steal their stuff. But I only did that. To be honest with you, I only did that because I was the victim.
Uh-huh. Right,
And
right.
I said, if I'm gonna survive, I have to be the danger. I play Fortnite with my kids sometimes, yeah. Yeah, I've got the from way back, the Diamond Hand skin that they released on there. I still have that one.
Escape from Tarkov?
No, dude. I already know what time. No, I'm not ever gonna play that one because I played a VR version of it. And yeah, that almost ruined me life. So
Yeah, the learning curve was too much for me. That's all. I still got it.
the market's listen, Battlefield 6 is amazing. I love it. I love Battlefield.
You know, people
6.
say that a lot about No Man's Sky.
You know, I have, and I watched a couple of people gaming on that one, and I almost downloaded it, and then I thought,
Retro plays that I can't be seen.
no, I thought I'm gonna rob Astro's spaceship. That's gonna be the only reason why I get on that game and stay dedicated to it, is to rob, possibly steal your ship, and fly it into
Bring
the
it.
sun. So Do I have your strategy on YouTube? I see your videos, but the strategy is still unclear. Draco, go to the educational playlist, my boy. FX David. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I've always been a Battlefield 6. I always will be. Yeah, I'm with you on Luke. Yeah, you can add me on Steam if you want. You know, just make sure you tell me who you are, because otherwise I won't join your lobby. I get scared sometimes. All right, we're gonna head out. Yeah, we'll go ahead and hop off of YouTube here. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if it works like that, Austin, because different people are gonna have but it's really risk to reward that matters the most, excuse me. Kava? Yeah, Kava kind of got bent over. So we're stuck in range and probably gonna stay here until earnings. So all right, I'm gonna go look at voice acting jobs online for just for fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow, or yeah, tomorrow morning. I'll try to be on at 8 o'clock again. I know we've been pushing it to 8:30, but mostly if we open up in range, I hop on at 8:30 because I'm like, we're just killing time talking about the same shit. You know, it's lower time frame setups there. So, you hear me in the next Zootopia? Oh nah, that movie was goofy, dude. All right, guys. Yeah, go check out the YouTube channel. What's
All
up?
right, guys. Peace. You guys
Peace,
have a
brother.
good one, bro.
Yeah, you too, man. Peace out, guys.
Another one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.